The bar was buzzing that night, filled with the chatter of truckers, laughter of locals, and the sharp clinking of beer bottles against wooden tables. But when the heavy roar of motorcycles shook the ground outside, the room grew tense. 5 bikers, dressed in leather jackets, boots thick with mud, and arrogance dripping from every step, pushed open the door. The chatter fell silent. Everyone knew trouble had just arrived. At the far corner of the bar sat a woman, alone, nursing a simple glass of water. She was quiet, her hair tied back, and her clothes plain, just jeans and a worn jacket. She didn't seem like someone who belonged in a place like this, and the bikers noticed. One of them smirked, nudging his buddy. "Hey, look at Miss Nobody over there. All by herself. What's she doing in our bar?" Their laughter echoed as they swaggered toward her. The woman didn't flinch. Her eyes, calm yet piercing, flicked toward them only once before returning to her drink. That tiny act of ignoring them lit a fire of fury in the bikers. They thrived on intimidation, and being overlooked was something they couldn't stand. "Hey sweetheart," the biggest of them growled, slamming his hand on her table. "Didn't your mama teach you it's rude not to greet people?" His friends laughed, circling her like wolves. The bar patrons exchanged uneasy glances, but no one dared interfere. Everyone knew the gang's reputation, they'd left more than one person broken for standing in their way. Yet, something about the woman's stillness unsettled even them. She finally lifted her gaze, meeting the leader's eyes. "My mama taught me something else," she said softly. "That it's rude to bother people who don't want your company." Her voice wasn't loud, but it carried across the room with a strange weight. The biker's grin twisted into a snarl. "You've got a smart mouth, lady. Let's see if it works as good when you're on the floor." He reached out to grab her shoulder. What happened next unfolded so fast the room barely caught it. In a flash, the woman twisted his arm, slammed him into the table, and swept his legs out from under him. He hit the floor with a thud that silenced every laugh in the room. The second biker lunged, swinging his fist, but she ducked effortlessly, landing a sharp elbow to his ribs before flipping him over her shoulder. 2 down, gasping on the ground. The remaining 3 hesitated, but pride wouldn't let them back away. They charged together. With precision and speed, she sidestepped, using one's momentum to throw him into another, sending both sprawling. The last tried to grab her from behind, but she spun, locking his arm and pinning him face down against the wooden floor. The entire bar stared in stunned silence. Within seconds, 5 men, loud, arrogant, and feared, were flat on the ground, groaning in pain. The woman straightened her jacket, calm as ever, and glanced around at the shocked faces. "I didn't come here for trouble," she said quietly. B. The air in the bar was thick with cigarette smoke and stale beer, a place where people came to drown their troubles more than to find joy. Truckers leaned against the counter, farmers swapped stories at the back, and a jukebox hummed faintly with an old country tune. Life here was simple, rough, and predictable, until that night. The silence hit like a cold wind when the engines roared outside. 5 motorcycles, black and chrome, rattled the glass windows as they pulled up in a line. Every local recognized the sound. The Black Serpents, a biker crew that owned fear like it was currency. Wherever they went, chaos followed. When the door swung open, the gang marched in, their presence swallowing the room. Heavy boots slammed against the wooden floor, and eyes turned away, too scared to meet their gaze. The leader, a massive man with a jagged scar across his cheek, scanned the bar with a predator smile. And that's when they noticed her. At the far table, by herself, sat a woman. She wasn't dressed to impress, just a worn jacket, jeans, and boots that had seen better days. No jewelry, no makeup, nothing flashy. Just simple. Her hair was tied back, a glass of water untouched before her. She looked like the kind of person you wouldn't notice twice, except for her eyes. Calm. Watchful. Like she'd seen storms far worse than any gang of men could bring. The bikers grinned at each other. To them, she looked like easy prey. "Hey, sweetheart," one of them jeered, swaggering toward her. "What's a pretty little thing doing in a place like this all alone? Waiting for a hero?" His friends laughed, slapping the bar, their voices booming. The woman didn't answer. She just shifted her gaze to her drink, tracing the rim of the glass with her fingertip. That silence was her only response. The leader stepped forward, his voice sharp. "You deaf, lady. We're talking to you." He slammed his hand down on the table, the wood shaking beneath his weight. The room froze. People glanced nervously at one another, silently begging her not to push further. But the woman finally spoke, her voice steady, soft, but somehow it cut through the noise. "My mama told me to stay out of trouble," she said. "But she also told me not to let trouble walk all over me." The bikers blinked in surprise. Then came the laughter. Ugly, cruel, echoing laughter. "Did you hear that, boys? She's got a backbone," the scarred leader sneered. "Let's see how long it lasts." He reached for her shoulder. That was his mistake. In one swift motion, the woman's hand clamped around his wrist. A twist, a jerk, and before he could even cry out, he was slammed chest first onto the table. The sound echoed like a thunderclap. His beer bottle shattered, foam spilling everywhere as he hit the ground, clutching his arm. The second biker swung a fist at her, but she ducked low, driving her elbow hard into his ribs. He gasped, staggering back before she hooked her leg and sent him sprawling across the floor. The